Hello, so today I want to talk about emotions. And emotions are such a big thing for us as humans. We have a lot of emotions at any given point in time. We're going to go through a number of different emotions based off of one situation. We definitely are very fluid with our emotions. Emotions come and they go. And as I said, we will feel multiple emotions to one thing. We might feel some relief, some fear, some happiness, some excitement, some nervousness, all based off of the same potential situation that we find ourselves in. And I think I wanted to really look at one of the most important things that we can do that will help us with our emotions. A lot of the time people try to fight the emotions that they have, try to get rid of them or try to bury them, try not to think about them. And, I've definitely said this in one of my other videos, and I say this all the time to my clients, right? If you say, I don't want to think about having this emotion, or I don't want to feel it, or I don't want to feel nervous, or whatever it might be, you're bringing more attention to it, and your mind actually doesn't hear the don't part. It just hears, if you say, don't make a mistake, you hear make a mistake, right? So very important not to fight them, not to try and get rid of them. They're there. They're kind of more like a signpost. They're an indicator. They're giving you a signal about something and really saying, hey, maybe you need to pay attention here, and let's figure out what it is exactly you need to pay attention to then be able to figure out what you maybe need to do in response to what is going on that is creating that emotion. So for example, athletes will get nervous. Nerves are an indication that you care. And they are actually an indication that your body is getting ready to now be able to perform. And so when we look at it that way, as it's just an indicator, it helps us to really see it in a different light rather than this thing that is going to inhibit our performance, right? And that's why, some people actually don't mind being nervous and other people really dread being nervous in that instance. Anger is another one. Anger, is just an indicator. It could be an indicator that your focus is off, or maybe your boundaries are off and you're, feeling some resentment around something. So you have to understand that emotions are indicators and they're there. But one of the things that really can help to reduce the potency of emotions is simply acknowledging the emotion and labeling the emotion. And this is what we call emotional literacy. And this is something that I think a lot of people in today's society really need to actually develop and learn a little bit more. Because I think a lot of the time we have emotions, but we don't have the language for them. We don't really maybe identify the emotion. We more maybe just say we're upset, or we use one term to describe something else. Like maybe we use anxiety to describe actually being overwhelmed, or we use anger to describe frustration, right? So we want to actually learn the skill set of labeling an emotion, because just by acknowledging that we have an emotion and then labeling the emotion, it helps to reduce that potency. And then obviously as that kind of emotion potency decreases, it helps us to maybe then be able to sit there and focus on the things that we need to focus on while allowing that emotion to still exist. The emotion is okay. It's when we take that emotion, we really maybe let it consume us, and then we kind of almost create stories based off of that emotion. So for example, a lot of athletes, when they start to get really nervous, they start to take that feeling, see it as a negative thing, and then start creating all of these scenarios in their mind about what could potentially happen in their performance. What happens if I fall? What happens if I make a mistake at the last second? What happens if the team loses because of me, right? The emotion now becomes this storyboard of potential things that could happen, which then almost feed that emotion even more, rather than just saying, no, you have that emotion because you care, you want to do well. Now it is about focusing on what is in your control, what is a task-oriented thing that you need to focus on to help you to perform well. Is it moving your feet, head on a swivel, being aggressive, really focusing on a specific aspect of your technique, right? Those are the things you want your focus to be on when you are performing, or to have that mind clear and just have very simple, basic kind of cue words that you are saying to yourself. So as I said, it seems very, very simple, but it is super powerful that when you do feel something, and it's important to not let it consume you, because it can kind of then run the show, take your mind off into all these different directions, is to simply acknowledge that you do have the emotion and to label the emotion. It, as I said, it decreases the potency, which then allows us much more easily to maybe be clear-headed, to make good decisions, to choose a response in that situation instead of reacting based off of that emotion that maybe we have. So really great skill set to practice, really learning and figuring out what emotions you do have, and to broaden, as I said, that language you have for identifying emotions, instead of just using maybe 2 or 3 or 4 things to identify emotions within you, to really get a little bit deeper. And someone who's done some great work on this, if you want to look, is Brene Brown. She, on her website, actually has a list of core emotions, so you can go there and find that list of core emotions to really help you to see what those core emotions really are. And that will help to, as I said, increase your emotional literacy, which will help you label the emotions and decrease that potency.